I'm Harley. So today is Cinco de Mayo and it's also Taco Tuesday, which would be super duper fun if it weren't not also day 743 of quarantine. Okay, maybe it's like a little bit of an exaggeration. It has not been quite that long, but the hope was that on May 1st in my area, the stay and home, what are they calling it? The shelter in place order would be lifted. However, it has been extended for another month. So we are still sheltering in place. We are still doing our bit. And I am going to get on a soapbox. Here, I'm just going to lay it out there right now. Here's my warning. I'm about to step up on the soapbox. I may also be throwing myself on the cross. I don't know. Here's the thing. You don't have to agree with me. And I will say right out, I'm going to talk about Corona. I'm going to talk about wearing a face mask in public. You don't have to agree. There's a lot of people out there who feel that it is an infringement on their rights. I am just outraged. It pisses me off to a level that I know I shouldn't let it get to me. I know there's just a lot of really fundamental people out there that just feel like the government should not tell them what to do. And you're right. Okay. You're right, Karen. The government should not tell you what to do. But here's the thing. If you want to be a decent human being and you want to educate yourself just a skosh, just a little bit about things, about why face masks are an important thing going out in the world in this day and age with a pandemic happening, maybe don't be a selfish prick. That's all I'm saying. So here's the thing. If you're not aware or if you're unclear or if, you just don't understand the goal. So COVID is a really insidious virus in that it can live on many surfaces for an unknown period of time. There's just not enough research out there. And it depends on the surface. Some things that I've read say that it can live on metal surfaces for a couple of hours, but it could live on cardboard for a couple of days. And there's all sorts of the gamut in between, right? So it can live on surfaces outside of its host for a while, which makes it dangerous. You can also be an asymptomatic carrier. So you can have it and not realize that you have it. You may feel fine, but you're still shedding the virus. You still have it. You're still touching things and putting it out in the world and potentially getting people sick. And that can just be from normal talking. Like, you don't have to have a cough. You don't have to have a sneeze. When you're talking, you're putting, your micro vapor out there in the world. That's just what happens. And these aerosolized particles can linger in the air for hours, they're theorizing. And even if these theories aren't completely correct, just the fact that it could happen should be enough to make you be an awesome person and be like, you know what? I don't want to risk somebody getting sick that maybe has to go out and buy groceries, that can't have their groceries delivered. Or, for whatever reason, people need to get out. We need to start slowly opening back up things. And people are getting out there and the weather's changing and, nobody wants to be stuck inside when it's gorgeous and 75 out. So the thing is, if you wear a mask, even if you're not sick, but potentially could be a carrier, then you're not allowing the virus to escape you, basically, or your area, your bubble, your 6-foot bubble, right? And then this other person, they're wearing a mask so that they're also protecting you. And so you're protecting everybody else is protecting you. It works both ways, that you're all protecting each other. Now, these masks, it's not like you have to wear it like 24/7. Frontline workers are having to wear these really thick, heavy masks, not heavy, but like it's a thick mask. Like, I don't know if you've ever worn an N95 mask, but when we moved into our house here, we actually did some work on our cupboards and did some painting. And it's actually recommended, if you're going to do those things, that you wear an N95 mask. You can buy hardware stores and stuff like that for this purpose, to protect your lungs, because breathing in those fumes and sawdust and all of that stuff, it's really harsh. Some of those chemicals are really harsh on your lungs, and some of them are even known to cause cancer. So if you've ever put on and properly fitted an N95 mask, it's very difficult to breathe through those. The air is thick. You have to work a lot harder to take in oxygen and that kind of thing. So frontline workers are having to wear these masks for like their whole shift. And if you are lucky enough to get one, I mean, not just like nurses and doctors and, people who work in hospitals and medical staff are wearing them, but hopefully your grocery store person is wearing one. The person at your gas station is wearing one, hopefully. People's shifts are like 8, 10, 12, 14 hours where they're having to wear these masks, and it's really hard. So you're not going to get sympathy from me if you're going to complain that you have to wear a mask for like 20 minutes while you run in a store and pick up some stuff and then get the hell out of there and get to go back to your car and take it off. Like, I don't see how that's infringing on your rights. It's your responsibility as a human being to look out for those around you, to look out for the people that don't have it as good off as you. I mean, this virus is attacking everyone. I don't care if you say, oh, I'm not immune compromised. I don't have comorbidities. I don't have, I'm young. It's going to be fine. The thing is like at first they were saying if you were old and if you had comorbidities, then it would affect you. But there's also been young people. There's been 2 separate instances that I have read about of women in their 40s. One was a nurse in Georgia, I believe, who passed away from the virus, like overnight, like had been pretty much okay the day before. And overnight she just died in her home and was found by her neighbor the next day. And another one who was a mother of 3 who passed away. And that really touches me because I'm a mother of 3 and like my kids are 9 and younger. So, it's scary. And it's just so selfish to think that like, okay, maybe you have great healthcare and you could go get help, but there are people who can't afford to take a day off of their job, who can't afford to, people who live paycheck to paycheck or even less, where they, their paycheck runs out before they even get paid again. So they're not even making it paycheck to paycheck. Those people can't afford to take a day off. They can't afford to be sick. They can't afford to go to a hospital. Many of these people don't have insurance that would cover a COVID test. I mean, it's so backwards to me, and it's just so selfish. I even read a story about a woman or a family in Flint, Michigan. They went to a Family Dollar, and the security officer asked them to put on a mask before they came into a store. And instead of doing that, they went home, they got their gun, and they came back and they shot the security guard. So instead of wearing a mask for 20 minutes, you're going to go and spend the rest of your life in prison. Like, how does that make any sense at all? It's just so frustrating to me. So I don't get it. I really don't get it. I want to be, the bigger person. I want to be enlightened and like see everybody's point of view. It's kind of a fault of mine that I like to keep the peace. And so I try to see things like I have my own opinion, but I also try to see it from the other person's perspective, which I mean is something that I think we all should do more of to some extent. It doesn't mean you have to change your opinion, but you can at least try to identify and step into the other person's shoes and empathize with their vision. And it's just, this is one of those things where I just really have a hard time. Now, I have masks for myself and my family when we go out, when we pick up our stuff. And I will say it is hard to breathe in them. As a child, I had some lung issues, and so that makes it really suffocating. Also, here's a fun fact that you might not know. Harley's claustrophobic. This Harley is a little bit claustrophobic. Not so much of small spaces per se, but of not being able to breathe and not being able to move. There's probably a special word for that I don't know. So wearing a mask, it does get to me. It does make it a little bit harder for me to do. But I do it because it's the right thing to do. It's just, here's a fun fact too. Don't put masks on your kids under 2 years old. I did see some pictures of people who are trying to like figure out a way to put a mask on their like infants. Don't do that. Don't do that. Just leave your baby at home, not by itself, obviously. Supervised. Maybe just don't take your baby out to the store with you. If you can't have somebody stay at home with the baby, or they make those covers that go over like your whole carrier. So they're still covered technically, but it's not on their face because they can't breathe, through those masks. So there's that. Let's see. So this was my tangent. I did go off on a bit of a rant. But here's another thing I wanted to say. So one last thing before I go, because this is getting a little long and I don't know how many of you will hang in that long with me, but so yesterday I had kind of a hard day. It was just everything was getting to me. I think a culmination of anxiety and stress and just things just kind of got to me, and I just had a really hard day, and I kind of went to a dark place in my head. And I'm okay. I got some sleep and it's okay, but here's the thing. I was just sad. It just got real sad, and it was just hard to get through my day. And if you're feeling that way, know that it's okay. Like, it's kind of cliche at this point, but we are in it together. You're not the only person who's going to have like a day where you struggle, where a day just gets harder. We're under extreme stress, and people under extreme stress do strange things, like go to Family Dollar and shoot someone who asks you, probably, maybe not even politely. I don't know. I don't know how the security guard asked, but like, you just decide that that's your breaking point. So hopefully don't have a breaking point. If you're feeling bad, just talk to someone. There's phone numbers you can call. If you just like Google it, it pops right up. Facebook, under their COVID-19 page, there's numbers there of people. If you're just not feeling good, if you need somebody to talk to, there's people out there that you can talk to. Try to get a good night's sleep. I mean, that worked for me. I had a really hard time getting to sleep last night, but once I did wake up and I felt better. And that might not always be the case. It's okay if you have several days in a row where you don't feel yourself. But the thing is, like, it's okay, but it's not okay. Like, it's okay to not be okay. Does that make sense? I'm getting tangent. I told you. So it's okay to recognize that you're not okay. And to say, hey, like, I need to do something else. So with that being said, I hope you all are doing okay. I can hear my kids getting unruly, so I have to wrap this up. But know that you should wear a mask if you go out in public. It's the right thing to do. And if you have a rough day, I'm here. You can talk to me. You can leave me a comment. I hope you enjoyed watching this video. And let me know what you're doing and how you're feeling and how you're coping, because every day is not a good day, but that's okay. Now I'm just talking in circles. Okay, bye guys. Bye.